Welcome back, guys, to the episode of psychedelic. What is it? Psychedelic conversations.
You're the host.
The name is in progress. Write the suggestions in the comments. Hasn't been created yet. Today we just thought about a few things and stuff that arose in the conversation, and in general we'll try to touch different subjects and just try to get some nuggets to come out. But the summary would be depression, anxiety, escapism behaviors,
addictions,
supernatural stuff,
supernatural,
unexplained stuff that happens during the ceremonies, the relationship between mind and emotions. Something else I'm missing?
I think there's something, but I can't remember what it was.
In no particular order, we'll just see if we can talk about those subjects and if something good comes up. When for me, the first that really excites me is the supernatural stuff. That catches my attention because I come from a very materialistic background. Like I'm a mechanical engineer, so I worked with engines and physics and everything is explained, and it seems to be that everything is clear. I'm very non-religious. I come from a country that, when I was born in Soviet Union. I spent my first 3 years in Soviet Union. On my birth certificate I have the hammer and sickle. And religion was prohibited, so there was no religion. The only time you encounter religion is, people when they get scared, they say like, oh my God, that's about it. This churches still remained, but I actually got baptized, but because when I was growing up and religion was reactivated, some guy just came to our kindergarten and said like, if you're not baptized, like demons will get into you. So they just threatened me and scared me into it. But I was never really religious, and I was always very materialistic. So for me, in this journey with ayahuasca, discovering gift of healing, which should not be real, right? And then actually observing that it works whenever I try to apply it, which is even stranger. And then those stories that the connection between people and their families when something happens to somebody during the ceremony and something gets removed or released from their family line, and they get a call from their mom or their dad saying like, I felt something, what's happening with you? Or I saw you in my dreams. Like there's reactivation of something that should not be real. Or sometimes people healing stuff that's should not supposed to be healed, or two different people seeing the same vision. So have you heard about anything like that that's like not really really unexplainable, or some happening to yourself or somebody?
Well, there's one thing that definitely came to mind when you mentioned about two people seeing the same visions, and that happened to me and my friend Alex Howell when we were living in. Maybe I shouldn't have said his full name on the podcast.
It's too late now. They're coming for you. The CIA is coming for you, Alex. Alex Howell, the passport number 123567.
You're out in the ether now, mate. And we were living in. We were best mates, and we were living in London at the time, and we were he'd just introduced me, kind of by accident or by coincidence or synchronicity, whatever you want to call it, to sort of healing frequencies like the 432 hertz and these other octaves. I'd never heard about this stuff before, and we were on a mild psychedelic. In fact, it wasn't really a psychedelic. I won't say what it was because I don't want to open up ideas of drug use in the in the podcast. I want to remain responsible. But it was just a very mild dose of a non-psychedelic relaxant, really. It was like a relaxant. And we were listening to these, these frequencies. And this sort of really, really weird, confusing but profound experience happened. And it's the first and only time it ever happened. And we were sort of sat there on the sofa together, and this very strange experience started to happen, and I started to develop this sort of inner sort of vision, which wasn't at all a symptom of this medicine we were on. And he goes to me, he's like, "Whoa, Ollie, you tripping balls?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, are you?" And we both sort of like look at each other, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in this other realm and I can see these people." And he's like, yeah, I can see it too, like through the letterbox. And we start describing the same thing, and it's almost like these frequencies did something and maybe adjusted the tuning on our brains, and we sort of very briefly tuned into this completely different reality, and we were apprehending this sort of landscape that wasn't on Earth. I can't really remember what it was. Like, the ground was pink and there was these weird but friendly looking creatures. It was super.
You accidentally opened the portal, and you were
I think
both
that's
in it.
exactly what happened. I think the frequencies we were listening to, one of them was a was a pineal gland resonant frequency. So my hypothesis is, in a completely sort of scientific and materialistic way, that this frequency resonated with our pineal glands, and it caused us to release a bit of our own natural DMT, and it triggered like my first and only inner natural DMT experience in him as well. It still leaves that massive question of, well, what does DMT do and what are you seeing? Is it real? But it was a very strange thing that...
So, but like people could say, like, you know, you've still been consuming something, and you know, whatever.
Exactly,
like they can always say, like, it was just a hallucination. But what about when it happens to two people? When one person takes nothing at all, like the very recent experience that happened a couple months ago. One person at the ceremony, he hasn't spoken to his dad for more than 5 years. There's some kind of very big trauma from childhood. And he, during the ceremony, he was feeling the healing and releasing of this and like forgiving. And he wrote him a 5 or 7, I don't remember the exact amount, page letter, like a physical letter. He didn't send it to him or message him or call him, nothing. The next morning, literally, his dad called him and said, "We need to talk." That's like first time in many years. You know, it can be a coincidence, but like it's a kind of too suspicious, right? Then one time we had this girl from Africa, and she was having a very profound experience. Like Taito was doing the cleaning on her, and he had to like run and vomit like 2-3 times because it was so tough. Like whatever demon he was fighting, it was like one level higher than him, so he barely managed to like kill him. Had to use some help potions. But probably leveled up after that. I really like using gaming analogies.
Super Mario, he's got
not Super Mario, but like
through the pipe.
RPG games, because it's sort of like magic, and you know, in a way. And when he done that, she like stood up and like jumped up as if like nothing happened. Then later on, she came to me and said, like, "Can you please translate to the Taita, like that, you know, you saved my life." And if I'm not mistaken, she said that her mom called her or some family member, and they felt something as well, something being released. So it's like something intergenerational.
I was just going to say, that's so interesting, because it's like it impacts the whole lineage or bloodline or ancestry or whatever. And this is something that I've heard or even been given pretty strong evidence of maybe 5 years ago, when I was still very much firmly rooted in my materialistic scientific worldview. I'd have found any sort of excuse to justify it in a different way. Oh, coincidence or this or that. But where I'm at now and what I've learned so far off various medicines, it kind of does make perfect sense, because it makes sense in a particular paradigm. And because it seems that, from my perspective, the only thing that was restricting these possibilities and things that we've mentioned so far was this limited idea that the mind is almost like a secretion of the brain. It's just this sort of ephemeral thing that exists within the skull, and it has no influence on, or it can exert no force upon anything beyond the skull. But if you consider that that's actually not the truth, and that maybe the truth is the opposite, that our entire experience is within mind, and not my mind, like the collective mind, like the Buddhists say,
Mm-hmm.
then why wouldn't that guy's father or that girl's mother have some sort of intuitive knowledge that something was happening with somebody they've got a very strong bond with, when these people exist within the same reality frame or the same mind or whatever? It's like this conduit that is hidden from us by our scientific rationalism. But if you accept that it's a reality, these things that suddenly seem so paranormal start to have like quite a sensible explanation.
I think I just realized a good analogy for this. Like, one analogy is like we're all computers without connection to internet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love this.
Then the other analogy is like we're computers, but we have connection to internet. And the other analogy is like we're all actually on the cloud, and the computers are basically just screens. That's what we are. So which one is right? We don't know. Jungian theory, like what they call it, collective unconscious.
Yeah, the collective unconscious.
That everything is somewhere there in the cloud, and then obviously it's very believable that there in that space where everything is connected.
Yeah.
The souls communicate, and even when people die, they still go there. Like I really like that thought is comforting to me. So coming back to what we started with, right? I'm really non-religious. I thought, the moment I die, I fall on the ground and I rot and forget about it. Like the only positive I can find in that is, let's say, my meat will rot and worms will eat and then the grass will grow, right? This kind of way of recycling. I recently, working with medicine, you just have no choice but to notice that you go to those places, like you said one time, you punctured through that wall, and like, so what's beyond, and whether it's correct or not, nobody could really say, because nobody knows, right? That's what all religions are based on, that assumption that there's something there. But I definitely felt presence of God a couple times during ceremonies, and God for me is not a bearded guy or his son or whatever. It's basically that thing that, like, this understanding that everything is connected, and the universe is God. You're God and I'm God. We're all God, and this palm tree is a God. And it's all this one thing. And it's like being
substance.
Connected to it is when you feel that it's a God, right? Being disconnected is when you feel godless. And then I definitely started believing that you don't really die. Like I don't. It's not that there was a specific moment, but like some time has passed, and I went from thinking that you die and that's it, to kind of like just not believing it anymore. It's not that I adopted some other belief. It's just that I removed that wrong belief.
Exactly.
And my opinion now is like, if you think about it, we as objects are basically information, right? Tiny sperm meets tiny egg, and everything else grows from the food you eat and stuff you consume from around, both physically and probably also energetically, right? And so how unbelievable, like you can send a movie, or you can send blueprints to a fucking Death Star for some reason. Like you can send blueprints for a ship to a shipyard in China, and they'll build a ship for you, and that's the industry I worked in. So how unbelievable it is that this blueprint, what you could call a soul, at the moment we die, is being sent somewhere, wirelessly. We have Wi-Fi now, we have Bluetooth and all this kind of, what is there are other levels of stuff that we don't know, like, and this thing about levels. Yes, I was worried I'm not going to have something to talk about this conversation.
This is flowing nicely.
Now I'm realizing, dude, I'm not letting you speak.
Is there enough memory on the phone to capture everything?
As I'm saying, it's curious how it just comes out. So, and this is, even if I'm wrong, this is a very comforting notion. Like, okay, you die, and then something goes somewhere, and then it goes somewhere else, and like those, I'm assuming those spaces where you go on psychedelics sometimes is a space where your soul goes, and those. I like to think a lot of times those are very pleasant places to be. So, what's your opinion on that?
It's I'm just trying to remember now. There was a bit that I liked. First of all, I like the analogy with the internet and the us being computers. Our minds work in a similar way.
Which one appeals to you?
Well,
out of three.
I'd never taken it to the cloud level, but it seemed like such a really fitting analogy when I thought about this same thing in my own contemplation, that I was a computer, and that to sort of have this sort of realization that there's a God or this connection that you spoke about is exactly the same as just being plugged into the internet, because for a computer that's never been plugged into the internet, even the idea of being connected to
I'm sorry I interrupt, but I just realized something really profound. Like internet is just those connections, right? It's not a thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
So God is that thing. Like
this
all
network
those
of connected nodes
is what God is. Like it's like it's not something specific, but it's thing, that glue.
Yeah, it's the synergy between all these different nodes and like from the perspective of a computer that's never been plugged in, even the idea of being connected to other versions of itself would be the most foreign concept ever. It'd have no need to even think that that's even a possibility. But as soon as you plug that Ethernet cable in the back, it's like hyperspace in terms of the computer. And so it really sort of, to me, that feels like such an accurate analogy. And you could even see it that, this is certainly how I see it, that everything that man creates, the internet obviously being one of those things, it's just like a reflection of, or a manifestation of, his inner nature. So like the fact that we've created this network of things that seems to quite nicely fit this metaphysical concept of connection, because it is actually a production from that metaphysical connection, and almost like mirrors, and that the world being a mirror of the inner soul or whatever, that fits quite nicely with
just like a very kind of tainted mirror. We kind of come up with our own versions of those things,
exactly.
Just slightly uglier and more backwards.
We just need to give it a good clean, and almost the mirror's so dirty that we've actually lost the ability to recognize ourselves in it, and we see everything as being separate things that aren't intrinsically connected to ourselves. But when we start doing activities like meditating or taking medicine, for example, we're just giving that mirror a bit of a clean, and eventually there'll be that moment of, oh my God, it's me. Shit, this is who I've been hiding from this entire time. And these are those moments that sort of really open up the heart. And
one more thing that I want to talk about, which is kind of on the subject of supernatural, but it's basically so far not confirmed, but sometimes on ayahuasca, for example, you get, it's as if you put a lens or a filter on you, and you start perceiving flows of energy. Like a lot of people commonly describe, and even on the last retreat you had several people that describe this mesh or a net of they say it like a matrix sort of looking thing. And I've had people describe it to me, and ceremony after ceremony, and even on different medicines. So
that's very interesting.
One time here upstairs, you cannot see it, but there's a bonfire and some small roof, and the ugly roof that I built, but functional, and some chairs where we would sit by the fire during the ceremonies. And I remember seeing this I was in my trip, psychedelic trip, but then I opened my eyes, and I was still seeing things visually, but it was not like just a bunch of colors that don't apply. It was augmented reality in the sense that it was right there, and I would just see this stuff. So I saw green color, glistening veins of something that I understood was as energy going from all directions, kind of like a viney plants to the fire. And it wasn't that like I would look around and they would shift with me. They were there. I would just see them when I would look at them.
Wow.
And then every stone around the fire, the logo that we have, the Ayahuasca in Colombia, the fire. It's that moment that I'm like, I still, it's a very rudimentary one, but if I get a graphic designer that's good enough to understand my vision, I would like for him to draw it. Maybe, when this blows up, or if, not if this blows up, but when this blows up, he or she will find me. I saw those green veins of energy kind of going around each rock and then ending up in the fire, and then like this energy would burn, and the fire was a specific kind of spirit kind of being. It's not just this like plasma I was looking at. It was a a thing.
You've
had like a person, but in general, when on psychedelics, when you look at plants, you realize they're not just plants. There's something else. It's not just a physical appearance.
Definitely.
So my question is, and also every rock would have like hieroglyphs on it, like letters, basically saying like I'm that rock. That's my name. That's who I am.
Wow.
Like, and
cool.
they would also not change. Like, I did not know how to read them, but it was all there fixed, and it was everything was surrounded by notion that this moment where I am right now is exactly where I should be, and it cannot be done any better, and this is just perfect place for this moment to happen. And even though nothing was happening, it was a very comforting notion that this is a perfect place for me to be right now, and all those people are exactly at the place where they need to be. Yeah, I'm losing my breath. I have so much to say.
That's nice.
And this is, but not to change the subjects. Like, and my question was like, is this a real thing that I'm seeing? Is it just something that I normally have no ability to perceive? Is it just a hallucination? And if it is a hallucination, how come it's so real and why everything is augmented? And then it gave me this notion that maybe there are like levels, like we have infrared and visible, and
exactly.
What if there are levels to that which we haven't discovered yet? With psychedelics, you put those lenses. Some people can see totally different landscape. What does the bat see?
Sonar.
On its sonar, but what does it see?
Oh yeah, exactly.
What does a fly see?
What the hell does that look like?
Exactly. So what are the levels are there with psychedelics serving the same psychedelic but on a different level? What are the levels can you, and how many are there, right? So is it wrong? Is it just a hallucination, or is it that?
This is a very, very interesting question. Like, this is something that I certainly don't have the answer, but I've thought about this a lot, and because I've had similar experiences of you said it very well, this augmented reality. Like, in fact, one of these like life-changing moments was ironically at the moment I met a moment I truly recognized my now girlfriend. There was this moment of like this augmented reality, like these levels to reality, and I was able to see this other reality, and it was like, is it real? And then it sort of, the conclusion I eventually drew was not with regards to what I'd seen, but it was with regards to my own definition of the word real. And if we are constantly surrounded by all of this, and this is kind of our solid reference point of language and terminology, our definition of real is going to be almost like a condensate of this being the ultimate reality. And so if we're not, I guess to link it with your analogy of these different spectrums of the electromagnetic, these different regions of the electromagnetic spectrum, if we've never seen infrared and we'd never have a word for it, there'd be no need for it. But then if one day we sort of eat a particular plant or a berry and it's like, oh shit, there's these infrared structures, I need to start creating new concepts for this because all my old concepts aren't sufficient. And so my personal belief is that there are layers and there are other energies and intelligences and beings all around us, just like there are all these different radio stations all around us, and you can tune into different ones.
Like a spirit realm and the realm of...
Exactly, yeah. But it's all spirit, really. In my worldview, it's all energy, just different frequencies.
It's as if there's like thousands of levels, and some pieces are like, you go somewhere from level 200 to level 300, and then occasionally maybe they take their own version of psychedelics and they can come in,
that's what we see as ghosts.
This looks funny,
that
for
is,
them. Like how unbelievable it is. Like, it brings me to the concept of infinity, right? Is infinity just linear in space, or is also infinity just going deep in levels, right?
Infinite in infinite dimensions, like. Yeah,
this is so trippy.
It's a real mind bender.
And we lack words.
Exactly.
And I think our brain, if you believe in that kind of like a cloud sort of cloud analogy, that we are in a cloud and this is just a manifestation, like we have our antenna is very limited.
Yeah.
It just receives this tiny amount of information and like what are really like this tiny ants?
Yeah, exactly.
We went too deep. We're losing it.
No, this is all good. I think the viewers will love this.
I don't know. Well, I hope so. I want to talk about something else, like this moment that I experienced, and when I was describing this situation with the fire and this moment in the ceremony. How often do we feel that way? Like, I really don't think I ever feel that way in my normal waking life. It's like everything is exactly as it should be. And we always assume it's not. We always assume we could be somewhere better or somewhere else or somewhere. But the reality is that it is the only way it could be. Like, because that's the way it is. Like,
it's just the one moment.
Why can't we feel that way every moment? This is, the moment you stop and think, like, I'm exactly where I need to be, and this is perfect. And like, why can't we? Like, why don't we ever?
Yeah, I mean, that's another sort of. Well, I think it's a thing that a lot of people, maybe 99.9% of people, will be able to relate to, like this ability to truly value the present moment. I know it's something I struggle with a lot, and it's almost like I see my mind as just this accumulation of time, and it's this big accumulation of time that prevents me from just being in this one moment, because there's all these memories of the past, or these thoughts about the future, what I'd want to be different, what I want to do tomorrow, what I want to, when's dinner ready, and it's like all these different thoughts of time are just clouding us and preventing us from just being completely content in this moment, because it's the only moment that has ever existed.
It's like pollution, right?
Exactly.
Like in the city, we have light pollution and noise
mental pollution.
We have mental pollution, but just all those like loose thoughts just bouncing around in the head.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's where journaling comes in, right? You catch those loose thoughts, you put them in the page, and hopefully there's a bit less noise.
Yeah. I've certainly found that's been helping me over this. Obviously, the medicine's probably helped me more than the journaling, but they're on the same, they complement each other.
It's no accident I gave you this, and it's no accident it has inquired, because it's a dream of mine, or an intention of mine, that people, after they end up filling their integration guide, they will go to the pages and just keep. As I explained, I want them to imagine they're in the imaginary word circle. And just start telling like how their day was and like what comes to their head, because it's only it feels like there's nothing, but the moment you start, it just starts pouring out, like this conversation we're having, right?
Exactly.
We began in one thing and then we're another, and we already forgot what it is. It's kind of like a river, and it just flows.
Yeah, it's just nice and fluid, and it's very interesting.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump to another topic, right? Depression, anxiety, escapism behaviors, addictions.
Yeah,
I think we can easily tie them all together. Right?
Definitely.
I'll begin with probably very wrongly quoting Gabor Mate, which is an idol of mine. If this becomes a podcast, you can say a good achievement will be getting him here. I've actually met people who met him.
Wow. Is he the Hungarian guy?
Hungarian Canadian doctor guy. Yeah. He says don't look for a substance, look for pain.
Okay.
This is so genius.
Wow. Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get addicted to something when you're in a good place mentally. Like you can just, addiction is.
That's powerful. Yeah.
Addiction is like something. It's like a wrong plug to plug a hole.
Yeah.
But it's you only jump to those behaviors or substances when you're in a bad place mentally, and when you're not, you can play with them. Like you can drink some alcohol and feel amazing and not remember about it next day, right? What do you think?
Yeah, completely. Like just even that sort of nugget of thought of his about looking for the pain, even that's just sort of lighting up all these regions of my brain, like with different channels of thought. But I agree with what he's saying, and also know it's true from my own experience. Like when I've struggled in the past with addiction or dependency on substances, whether it be alcohol, or a big one for me was ketamine. When I was after the period, maybe not until like 4 years, maybe 3 years after my dad died, I started using it socially in London, and it was only after maybe in London, London with the blunt valve. It's only after like 9 months of being in London, I thankfully had this sort of rude awakening by a more helpful medicine, which was LSD when I was at a music festival. It just helped me realise though so clearly that the reason that I enjoyed taking ketamine so much wasn't because of this sort of sensorial bliss that it gave me, because it helped me to shut out this pain that I just had manifested, just ever present in my heart. And I just thought I just enjoyed taking ketamine because it was sensorial, but that experience helped me get a level deeper, and it was like, oh, that's why I've been doing it, that's why I keep going back to it, that's why it's sort of stuck to me, because it's got this sort of little pain hook that it is almost like a little cactus on a jumper. It's hooked itself in there because I'm in that particular place mentally and emotionally at that moment in my life. And once I'd managed to move past that, I don't take drugs anymore. But even maybe a year after it, I was able to try that particular drug. And it was like, you know what, that actually wasn't even that nice. It was, and I had no desire to even try it again. And so it was really potent for me how much that had changed my relationship with these sorts of crutches, or these buffers that help you through these hard times. And I went through a period of demonizing them, which I think I'm past, because I think certain medicines, or even things that would be considered drugs, like ketamine is probably in most people's vocabulary a drug instead of a medicine. It still helped me a lot, and it still helped me deepen my understanding and grow. So everything has its purpose.
Yeah, ketamine by itself, it can be a drug, but in a good practitioner hands, it can be an amazing way to remove pain from a memory and process trauma. I think I want to talk about depression, antidepressants, and also quitting antidepressants to come to the ceremony. But before let's take a short technical pause.